Hi, I'm Bee from Bee by the Sea Creates, and in this video I'm going to be showing you 4 basic stitches that you can use for things like outlining. For example, if you have bought my embroidery hoop kit to make these handprints, what you can use to outline these handprints, for the little vines, and for any writing that you might like to do on the kit. So the first one I'm going to show you is a really simple back stitch. So what you're going to want to do is to come up a little bit ahead of where you've started, pull your needle through, come back down at the start of your line, and then come up again a little bit in front, pull up and come back down. And then again, and you're just going to keep repeating that until you get to the end of where you need to be. So this is the stitch that I used for the writing on my own handprint hoop that I did. So that is your back stitch. So the next stitch I'm going to show you is a split back stitch, which is my favourite one to use. So again, you're going to come up a little bit in front of where you have started your line and go back in at the start. And then this time, instead, when we come up, instead of going back into the same hole, you are going to go back in midway through that stitch. So you're going to split it in half, hence split stitch. And then you're just going to keep doing that. So come up and then come back in halfway through. Come up, come back in halfway through. And then you're just going to keep doing that the whole way along your line. So then when I get to the end, rather than this being my last stitch, I will come up here and go through the middle again. So the next one I'm going to show you is a split stitch, so a classic split stitch. So starting on the end this time, coming up, doing your first stitch, and then you're going to come up in the middle of that stitch rather than go down into the middle of that stitch. I don't find this one as easy as a back split stitch because I can't see where I'm putting my needle so easily. And then come down again. and then back up in the middle. I find they look pretty similar and I prefer doing it backwards. So that's what I tend to do. And then again, when I get to the end, I'm going to do the same as I did on the back split stitch and just come up once more in the middle to finish it off so that all the stitches are even. I don't have any long ones at the end. And there you go. The last stitch I'm going to show you is stem stitch, which I don't use all that often, but I occasionally use for flower stems or my vines that I do around the edge of my flowers. So I'm going to come up and do one stitch. And then my next stitch, I'm going to come up, and you need to choose either the top or the bottom, either will do. And I'm going to come halfway, but next to it rather than in the middle, like I did with my back stitch, split back stitch. And then come a little bit ahead. And then come back. And there you go. So that's your stem stitch. I'm just going to turn it over and show you how I tie off my threads as well. I've just trimmed these ones, which obviously is not what you want to do because you don't want them to come undone. So I come back in under a stitch that I've just done, and then I loop it round and make a little knot just like that. And I always do it twice because I've had them come undone a couple of times when I've trimmed my thread, which is not ideal. So, and then you want to trim, not too short, just like that. So there are my 4 stitches that I would use for outlining, for vines, for stems, and like I said, maybe for the writing on this, and definitely the handprints. This on mine, this is the split back stitch, and this is done using the normal back stitch, and my vines are done using a split back stitch as well. So there you go. I hope you've found that useful. Be sure to check me out over on Facebook and Instagram at Be by the Sea Creates. And if you are doing one of my handprint kits, I'd love to see your finished design. Thank you so much.